Hello, Beaker Middle School, and welcome to the April edition of What's New in the Library. We are in the middle of spring, and everybody's wanting to play outside and do lots of great stuff, and I say get out and play. But if you have time, read a book still. So I thought we'd feature a really great author this month, one of my absolute favorites. His name is Gordon Korman. And he was actually born in Canada, but he lives in the United States now. He has kind of a cool story. His writing career started as a 7th grader. He had an assignment in 7th grade ELA class to write a story, and it was so good that they got it published. And his freshman year in high school, his first book was published. So don't say that you can't do it, because he did it. And now he has sold over 17 million copies of his books. He is one of the most famous middle school authors out there. And so we're going to take a look at his books today. Some of you have probably heard of some of them. We're only going to talk about 4 of them, but there's a bunch more. And so we're going to focus in on several. Let's start with Ungifted. Now, Ungifted was on the Truman Award nominee list in the 2014-15 school year. This is a super book. It's about a boy named Donovan, and he pulls a major prank. I mean, like, big. And he ends up sitting in the superintendent's office. That's like the principal of the principal. And he's in big trouble. And he's kind of sitting there waiting to get his punishment, and his name accidentally gets shifted over to the list of kids being sent to a gifted school. So he has no choice but to show up at the gifted school in order to stay out of trouble. The problem is he's not gifted, and he has no idea how he's going to figure out how to fit in. So obviously, if you look at the front cover there's a robot involved in a lot of hijinks and funny things. This is a great book. Has a super ending, but it's also really funny along the way. So I definitely recommend Ungifted. Next, we're going to take a look at Masterminds. Now, this one has more twists and revelations than you can shake a stick at. So this is a cool book about a boy named Eli who lives in the world's most perfect town, Serenity, New Mexico. Everyone there is honest all the time. They have great values. They never tell lies. Even the kids, nobody ever lies because they know that they live in this perfect town and they want everything to stay perfect. And Eli's never left Serenity, and he doesn't really see a reason why he should leave, but one day he bikes out to the edge of the city and sees something so weird, so crazy, that it changes everything. And he enlists his friends in an investigation to try to figure out what is going on in Serenity. And it turns out pretty quick that they can't trust anyone, especially their parents. So it's definitely worth a read. You should check out Mastermind. Next, let's look at Swindle. Now, this one is catching a lot of attention. Nickelodeon just bought the rights to make it a movie, and it's the first book in a series of 7. The main character's name is Griffin, and Griffin has been kind of tricked by a mean collector named Swindle, and Swindle got Griffin's most valuable baseball card, and Griffin wants it back. So he enlists all of his friends to break into Swindle's compound and steal the card back. The only problem is Swindle's compound has like a high-tech security system and hiding places and tunnels and this crazy mean guard dog, and plus Griffin and his friends can't even drive. So there's a lot of things standing in their way as they're trying to get in and steal this baseball card back. And you can imagine that everything that happens is hilarious. I mean, you will laugh out loud to this book. Again, first of 7, and we have them all. So that is Swindle. How many of you have read a book where the dog dies? Raise of hands. Anybody? Yeah, all of us. All of us have read a book where the dog dies, because in like every book in middle school that involves a dog, guess what? Bing! Dog dies. So that's why No More Dead Dogs was written. This is a hilarious story of a boy named Wallace. Yep, same first name as his last name. And he is kind of a school football hero who gets totally kicked off the football team because he writes a book report about a book called Old Shep My Pal. And in the book report, he tells his English teacher that he hates every minute of the book. He thinks it's stupid. He wants to know why in every book the dog has to die at the end. And his English teacher is super mad. And basically, one way or another, she gets him kicked off the football team. And in order to punish him, he has to sit at every rehearsal for the school play. Also, Old Shep My Pal. So she's taking the book and turning it into a school play, and he's got to sit there and watch the whole thing because he doesn't like the book, which is obviously crazy. But some seriously funny stuff ensue as he gets involved in the play and ends up somehow getting a set of rollerblades and a moped into the play. So this is a hilarious twist on for those of us who hate books where inevitably the dog dies.
I'm reviewing the book Pay It Forward. This book is about 12-year-old Trevor and a social studies teacher try to make the world different. They try to make the world different by paying it forward. They're doing something for someone and paying it forward. This book is a great book. You should read it.
My name's Jason. I like the book Anya's Ghost because it was really funny. It's about this girl who fell in an old well and somebody else died down there, and the remains was their bones, but the ghost couldn't leave their bones. So when Anya got out, she didn't want to take the ghost because she wasn't really friends with it. So the ghost snuck a bone into her purse.
Dawson Ballhaus, 6th grade. The book I'm doing is Sammy Keys and the Hotel Thief. It's a mystery book and a comedy kind of together because it's about this girl named Sammy, and she lives with her grandma, and her grandma lives in a hotel, and she uses binoculars. She uses binoculars to look out the window, and what she sees is a man wearing a mask stealing money out of the hotel. And when the burglar sees her, what Sammy does is just waves and says hi. And for some reason, it really does happen, and that's it. So just read it.
This month we got a new series in called Club CSI about some friends who solve mysteries at their school. And there are 6 books total in the series. So here is Club CSI. We also got in a series called Dog Tags, which are about animals that help soldiers fight in wars. And so we have 4 different books in this series. Here's book 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, BMS, that does it for the April edition of What's New in the Library. Good luck with testing. I know everybody's up in testing right now, so work hard, get some good sleep, eat a good breakfast, all that fun stuff, and really give it all you got, because that stuff matters. And make sure to read a good book this month. I will see everyone next month for the last edition of What's New in the Library for this year. So see you next month.